to talk about the concept of the competitive arena for everyone. Okay, so obviously we want to improve the matchmaking system, and we hired super smart PhD statistician to come in and try to do the system that's going to be even better than true skill, but you know, we're not going to actually go out and do fancy labels and trademarks or things like that, but we're going to do a really cool matchmaking system. And one of the big things we want to do is try to make sure we have play options for everyone to enjoy. You know, whether or not you're a hardcore multiplayer gamer, you're a co-op player, or whatever you are, we want to make sure there's plenty of different ways to play the game. We want to make sure that it's easy for you to find your friends and to organize games. And so here's the thing about ladder play. Ladder play doesn't have to be for hardcore gamers only. You know, I know a lot of people kind of view it that way, but I think there's a lot of opportunity to improve upon that. And this next dude is a competitive ladder player. You can look how hard he's trying. He's really trying hard to play softball here. But the thing is that we all have experience playing competitively in our everyday lives. You know, it's just that, you know, if you go down to local gym and you play in a basketball league with 6 other teams, you know, you can actually compete against them. You don't necessarily expect that you're going to suddenly, you know, be competing against Michael Jordan. But, you know, you can actually have a really fun experience because you're competing in kind of a structured, organized play with other people of your skill level. And that was really what we wanted to achieve with BattleNet going forward. So here's how it works. When you play on the service for a certain amount of time, you're going to get put into kind of this large league. And these are the different leagues that you'll have. So we have everything from a practice league, which I'll talk about in a little bit, all the way up to a pro league. You know, most of us will probably be somewhere in between all those things. And so for the most part, you'll just kind of know yourself as a bronze player or a gold player or something like that, and you'll play within kind of that percentage of the league. Within your league, you're ranked against 100 players of your skill level. So you'll kind of be in this division. And we make sure that everyone within your division is close enough to your skill level where it's very, very realistic that you can actually compete against them and win. But I do have to call one thing out here, which for some reason, I don't know why, I don't know if you guys know any of the names of the various aliases of the Blizzard employees, but for some reason my web guys decided to put me underneath Jeff Kaplan, Tom Chilton, and Greg Street on this list, and there's no way any of them would beat me at Starcraft 2, so I don't know what the deal with that is. All right, so everyone has a chance to win their division, and that's really the point. So the point is, when you're in a division, that's what you focus on. You focus on your league, you focus on your division, and at the end of the season, if you do really well and you win your division, you place really highly, you get to go to the end of the season tournaments and really prove who's going to win the league. All right, so on top of that, those are kind of the competitive features, you know, for kind of the ladder play, but we also kind of have this concept for casual play options. And this is everything from a practice league, co-op skirmish, random teams, challenges, custom games. And to talk just briefly a little more about the practice league, the way that works is, like if you really are a true new player and you kind of want to be in a safer experience, the practice league has slightly different rules than the rest of the leagues. We actually slow down the game speed and we put maps in there that are very much kind of anti-rush maps. So it really is kind of this kind of friendlier, slowed down experience so you can kind of get used to the game without getting 4-pull rush 2 seconds in. All right, so now I'm going to show you more screens from the competitive. All right, so the first thing I talk about is the party system. So the party system is something that's been around in a couple other games. Most notably, obviously, we have a party system in World of Warcraft. And even though that game's a role-playing game, we didn't feel like there was any reason why we couldn't bring that over to Star 2. So it kind of works the same way as you would see in World of Warcraft. So you can invite somebody to your party. In this case, I'm being invited to a party. And if you look up in the upper right-hand corner, now you can see all my party members. So now we're in a party. And the big advantage of being in a party is we can talk with each other very easily. And the other thing is that we automatically go into games together. So whoever the party leader is, they can select whatever game that we're going to play. In this case, we're selected the 2v2 option. I can select my race, and then we go into the game together, and then when the game's over, we also come back into the service together also. So we can just play as this persistent party and play as many games we want to play until the party breaks up. So this would be an example of once the game starts, waiting for other players, and then load into the game itself. All right, so here's some screens. This is an example of what might happen once you've played in the service for like 10-ish games. It might be a little bit longer than that. You get placed in the league, so there's an example of that where I got selected to be put into the 1v1 Gold League. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about Warcraft 3 was the custom game list was kind of this mishmash. You know, you'd see a whole bunch of Dota games, and probably most of those Dota games said things like, no noobs, please. And it was like, that was the entirety of the game list. And if you wanted to find an interesting game, or the game you wanted to play, you really couldn't do it. So this is the example of how this list would look. So if you look at the very top, there's the example of Dota All-Stars. So all the different Dota games would be consolidated into that one line under just the name of the map itself. So you're really searching for the type, the map, the game type, or things like that. And if you look at the top, there's also kind of a filter by genre. So you can even like subdivide further and actually filter it even more. So this is an example of that. So under this one, I actually selected co-op skirmish. So now it filters it entirely, and even Dota itself went away since that's not considered a co-op skirmish map. And then this is an example of how you create a custom game. You know, very similar again, very straightforward, very easy to do. One of the things that we added, which is kind of cool, is kind of this, one of the things you can do now is you can create a custom game, and then when you go into the game lobby, you can actually have the game lobby be private, and then invite all your friends, get the teams configured how you want, and then if you notice, like right above my name, there's that button that says open to public, and once you punch that button, what it does is now it broadcasts the game to the game list. So you don't have to kind of do that thing you did in the past where you have to jump in the game, kick a bunch of players, wait till your friends get in, try to coordinate. You know, just go ahead, go into the private game lobby, then invite all your friends, then you can go ahead and publish the game to the game list and get the rest of the players into the game. All right. So the quick summary on this one is, of course, many different types of games to play and watch. It's easy to play and stay with your friends. The ladder is designed for everybody. And something else I want to call out, again, back to the Battle.net account system, is it's also going to help ensure fairer games. Because back in Warcraft 3, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the term smurfing. Not a lot of you. Wow, I must really be getting old. It's much less likely that you're going to run into these people that are just kind of faking you out with pretending like they're new players, because once they've played like 10, 12 games, we're going to know what their skill system is, they're going to be ranked appropriately, and they're not going to be able to make a whole bunch of new accounts to come down and stomp you.